micro enterprises and maintain their access to risk capital. Liquidity support. With TREDS, more than 7 lakh crore has been made available to MSMEs. To leverage its full potential, I propose 4 measures. 1. Mandate TREDS as the transaction settlement platform for all purchases from MSMEs by CPSEs, serving as a benchmark for other corporates. 2. Introduce a credit guarantee support mechanism through CGTMSE for invoice discounting on TREDS platform. 3. Link GEM with TREDS for sharing information with financiers about government purchases from MSMEs, encouraging
Hello, sir. Good
cheaper
morning.
and
And
quicker financing.
I think
4. Introduce TREDS receivables
rather
with
than
perfect back
focusing on big
securities,
announcements, I feel
helping develop a
the budget
secondary
will
market,
try to move
enhancing
towards
liquidity
reforms,
and settlement of
because reforms are
transactions.
something which have been the talking
Professional
point.
support.
And
Government will
even last year you
facilitate
saw that
professional
government tried to
institutions
reform when it comes to
such as
labor
the
sector or
ICAI,
GST sector.
ICSI,
So what I feel is
ICMAI
ki
to design
the government is going
short-term
to push towards reforms
modular
because
courses and
they have the
practical
political
tools
stability right now,
to
and
develop a
they
cadre
will
of
want to use it to ensure
corporate
a long-term
mid-caps,
economic growth in the Indian economy.
especially in Tier 2
And
and
so I think the budget will be
Tier
more
3
reform centric,
towns.
and that is my hunch.
These
And
accredited
the big cash
para-professionals
announcements
will
will be
help MSMEs
uh,
meet
they won't be the
compliance
priority this time.
requirements
So I
at
think
affordable costs.
that is my
Infrastructure.
take when it comes to the budget.
During this past decade, our government has undertaken several initiatives for
Sure.
large-scale enhancement of public infrastructure, including through new financing instruments such as Infrastructure Investment Trust (InvITs) and Real Estate Investment Trust (REITs), and institutions like NIIF and NABFID. We shall continue to focus on developing infrastructure in cities with over 5 lakh population, that is Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, which have expanded to become growth centers. Public capital expenditure has increased manifold from 2 lakh crore in 2014-15 to an allocation of 11.2 lakh crore in BE 25-26. In this coming year, that is financial year 2026-27, I propose to increase it to 12.2 lakh crores to continue the momentum. To strengthen the confidence of private developers regarding risks during infrastructure development and construction phase, I propose to set up an infrastructure risk guarantee fund to provide prudentially
So I
calibrated
think
partial credit guarantee to lenders.
talking about
Over the years, rights have emerged as a successful instrument for asset monetization. I propose to accelerate recycling of significant real estate
जो bullish हो
assets
रहा
of
था
the
वो capital
CPSEs
expenditure
through the setting up of dedicated rights. To promote environmentally sustainable movement of cargo, I propose to 1. Establish new dedicated freight corridors connecting Dankuni in the east to Surat in the west. Operationalize 20 new national waterways over the next 5 years, starting with National Waterways 5 in Orissa to connect mineral-rich areas of Talcher and Angul and industrial centers like Kalinga Nagar to the ports of Paradeep and Dhamra. Training institutes will be set up as regional centers of excellence for development of required manpower for these waterways. This will benefit youth in the entire stretch of the waterways to train and acquire skills. Further, a ship repair ecosystem catering to inland waterways will also be set up at Varanasi and Patna. And C, launch a coastal cargo promotion scheme for incentivizing a modal shift from rail to road to increase the share of inland waterways and coastal
People in the
shipping
stream, you
from
can
6% to 12% by
also ask something if you
2047.
feel like
To enhance last mile
anything
and
regarding
remote
the announcement,
connectivity
you can ask
and
us.
promote tourism, I propose to give incentives to indigenize manufacturing of seaplanes. A seaplane VGF scheme will be also introduced to provide support for operations. Carbon capture, utilization and storage. Aligning with the roadmap launched in December 2025, the carbon capture, utilization and storage technologies at scale will achieve higher readiness and in end-use application across 5 industrial sectors, including power, steel, cement, refineries, and chemicals. An outlay of 20,000 crore is proposed over the next 5 years for this purpose. City economic regions. Cities are India's engines of growth, innovation, and opportunities. We shall now focus on Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and even temple towns, which need modern infrastructure and basic amenities. This budget aims to further amplify the potential of cities to deliver the economic power of agglomerations by mapping city economic regions based on their specific growth drivers. An allocation of 5,000 crore per CER over 5 years is proposed for implementing their plans through a challenge mode with a reform cum result-based financing mechanism. In order to promote environmentally sustainable passenger systems, we will develop 7 high-speed rail corridors between cities as growth connectors, namely Mumbai to Pune, Pune to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Bengaluru, Hyderabad to Chennai, Chennai to Bengaluru, Delhi to Varanasi, Varanasi to Siliguri.
Okay. So she made some announcement related to tourism, right? She made some announcement related to the tourism sector.
Financial sector. The Indian banking sector today is characterized by strong balance sheet, historic highs in profitability, improved asset quality,
and she has also kept in mind the regional approach which they followed during the aspiration district
in the
programme.
country.
So
At
that is
this
also
juncture,
something.
we are well placed to futuristically evaluate the measures needed to continue on the path of reform-led growth of this sector. I propose setting up a high-level committee on banking for Vikasit Bharat. High-level committee on banking for Vikasit Bharat to comprehensively review the sector and align it with India's next phase of growth, while safeguarding financial stability, inclusion, and consumer protection. The vision for NBFCs for Vikasit Bharat has been outlined with clear targets for credit disbursement and technology adoption in order to achieve scale and improve efficiency in the public sector NBFCs. As a first step, it is proposed to restructure the Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation. I propose a comprehensive review of the foreign exchange management non-debt instruments rules to create a more contemporary, user-friendly framework for foreign investments consistent with India's evolving economic priorities. Corporate bond market. I propose to introduce a market-making framework with suitable access to funds and derivatives on corporate bond indices. I also propose to introduce total return swaps on corporate bonds. Municipal bonds. To encourage the issuance of municipal bonds, of higher value by
Hello.
larger cities, I propose an incentive of 100 crore rupees for a single bond issuance.
So basically, if you see over here, what is happening is that
100
the
crore
government is
rupees
primarily
for
focusing
a
on
single
revamping the
bond
overall banking
issuance of
system.
more than
उसके साथ
1,000
साथ
crore.
they are also
current scheme
comprehensively
under
reviewing
Amrit
NBFC, and for those viewers that are focusing on
The current scheme under Amrit,
this
which
FEMA Act
incentivizes issuances
which the finance
Correct.
minister mentioned about,
crores
तो
only,
फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मैनेजमेंट
will
एक्ट
also
में
continue to
उन्होंने बोला है
support
कि
smaller and
नॉन
medium
डेट
towns.
इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में
That will
इन्वेस्टमेंट के
also
लिए
continue
दे विल बी
to support the
इंक्रीजिंग और
smaller
लेट्स
and
से
medium towns.
सिंप्लीफाइंग द रूट्स.
Ease of doing
सो
business.
इट बेसिकली ट्राइंग टू
Individual
टेल टू
persons
FPIs कि
resident
इक्विटी में इन्वेस्टमेंट
outside
करो,
India,
और आपके लिए
अच्छा.
इक्विटी में इन्वेस्टमेंट करने के लिए
will be
वी विल बी
permitted to
मेकिंग द
invest
रूल्स
in
वेरी मच ईजियर.
equity instruments
So
अच्छा, तो
that's
वो
what
basically
is a very big announcement from the Union Finance Ministry. So which is a very good sign.
It is also
एग्जैक्टली मतलब वो जो आउटफ्लोज को थोड़ा एड्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं वो लोग, राइट.
Yes, exactly.
individual
ठीक
PROI
है.
under the scheme from 5% to 10% with an overall investment limit for all individual PROIs to 24% from the current 10%. Emerging technologies including AI. 21st century is technology driven. Adoption of technology is for the benefit of all people. Farmers in the field, women in STEM, youth keen to upskill, and Divyangjan to access newer opportunities. The government has taken several steps to support new technologies through AI mission, National Quantum Mission, Anusandhan National Research Fund, and Research and Development and Innovation Fund. Our second kartavya is to fulfill aspirations and build capacities. Close to 25 crore individuals have come out of multi-dimensional poverty through a decade of our government's sustained and reform-oriented efforts. Our government has therefore decided to place a renewed emphasis on the service sector to provide a pathway to fulfilling aspirations of a youthful India with the following measures. I propose to set up a high-powered education to employment and enterprises standing committee to recommend measures that focus on services sector as a core driver of Vikasit Bharat. This will make us a global leader in services with a 10% global share by 2047. The committee will prioritize areas to optimize the potential for growth, employment, and exports. They will also assess the impact of emerging technologies, including AI, on jobs and skill requirements and propose measures thereof. To create a range of skilled career pathways, a new range of skilled
sir,
career pathways
in one
for our
proposal-
youth, I propose interventions in the following sectors.
Am I audible, sir?
Health. Existing institutions for allied health professionals will be upgraded and new AHP institutions established in private and government sectors. This will cover 10 selected disciplines, including optometry, radiology, anesthesia, OT technology, applied psychology, and behavioral health, and add 1 lakh AHPs over the next 5 years. A strong care system covering geriatric and allied care services will be built. A variety of NSQF-aligned programs will be developed to train multi-skilled caregivers, combining core care and allied skills such as wellness, yoga, and operation of medical assistive devices. In the coming year, 1.5 lakh caregivers will be trained. Hubs for medical value tourism. To promote India as a hub for medical tourism services, I propose to launch a scheme to support states in establishing 5 regional medical hubs in partnership with the private sector. These hubs will serve as integrated healthcare complexes that combine medical, educational, and research facilities. They will have Ayush centers, medical value tourism facilitation centers, and infrastructure for diagnostics, post-care, and rehabilitation. These hubs will provide diverse opportunities, job opportunities for health professionals, including doctors and AHPs. Ancient Indian yoga, already respected in several parts of the world,
Sir, you are not
was
audible.
given a mass global recognition when Honorable Prime Minister took it to the UN. Post-COVID, Ayurveda
you are
gained
audible.
a similar global acceptance and recognition. Exporting quality Ayurveda products
So
helps
she
farmers
just
who grow the
proposed
herbs and youth who process the
a
products.
high-level committee
To meet growing global
to bridge
demand,
the skill
a
gap
few more steps are
between
being taken. I propose to
all those who are graduating
set up
and
3
मतलब
new
employability वाला
all-India
पॉइंट को एड्रेस करने की
institutes
कोशिश कर
of
रहे हैं ये लोग फिर से
Ayurveda.
और उसको इंटीग्रेट करना चाह रहे हैं रिसेंट
2.
टेक्नोलॉजीज के साथ तो
Upgrade
इसके
Ayush
बारे में भी उन्होंने भी
pharmacies
एक प्रपोजल
and
डाला
drug testing labs for higher standards of certification ecosystem and make available more skilled personnel. 3. Upgrade the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar to bolster evidence-based research, training, and awareness for traditional medicine. Animal husbandry. Livestock contributes to close to 16% of farm income, including of poor and marginal households. To scale up availability of veterinary professionals by more than 20,000, I propose to roll out a loan-linked capital subsidy support scheme for establishment of veterinary and para-veterinary colleges, veterinary hospitals, diagnostic laboratories, and breeding facilities and
हाँ मतलब उन्होंने कोर इश्यूज पर ही फोकस रखा
collaboration
है दैट इज
between
व्हाट
Indian
आई
and
कैन
foreign
फिगर आउट
institutions will also be
हाँ
facilitated.
दिस प्रोबब्ली इज अ गुड साइन
Orange economy.
and at
India's
least they
animation,
know like
visual
what are
effects,
what are
gaming,
the
and
things which
comics
they need to
sector,
address right now.
ABGC sector, is a growing industry projected to require 2 million professionals by 2030. I propose to support the Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, Mumbai, in setting up ABGC content creator labs in 15,000 secondary schools all over the country and 500 colleges. The Indian design industry is expanding rapidly, and yet there is a shortage of Indian designers. I propose to establish, through Challenge Route, a new National Institute of Design to boost design education and development in the eastern region of India. Education. Our government will support states through Challenge Route in creating 5 university townships in the vicinity of major industrial and logistics corridors. These planned academic zones will host multiple universities, colleges, and research institutions, skill centers, and residential complexes. In higher education, STEM institutions, prolonged hours of study and laboratory work pose some challenges for girl students. Through VGF, viability gap funding, and capital support, one girls' hostel will be established in every district. To promote astrophysics and astronomy, via, via immersive experiences. 4 telescope infrastructure facilities will be set up or upgraded. The National Large Solar Telescope, the National Large Optical Infrared Telescope, the Himalayan Chandra Telescope.
अभी तो वही सब चल रहा है, बेसिक बातें ही चल रही है, टैक्स पर तो अभी पहुंचे नहीं है ये लोग.
Tourism. The
So,
tourism
are you
sector
expecting
has the
something? I
potential
am not
to play
expecting.
a large role in the employment generation, forex earnings, and expanding the local economy. I propose to
मतलब
set
ट्विटर
up
पे बहुत
a
चल रहा था कि
national
लोग कह रहे थे
institute
कि
of hospitality by
कैपिटल
upgrading
गेन्स
the
टैक्स में कुछ
existing
होगा या
national
नहीं होगा,
council
वहां पर
for
भी लोगों की
hotel
एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं.
management and catering technology.
Let's see.
It will function as a bridge between academia, industry,
Sir, you are
and
not
government.
audible.
I also propose a pilot scheme for upskilling 10,000 guides in 20 iconic tourist sites
Sir, you are not audible.
through a standardized, high-quality, 12-week training course in hybrid mode in collaboration with a Indian Institute of Management. A national destination digital knowledge grid will be established to
लोगों ने
digitally document all places of significance, cultural,
Correct.
spiritual, and heritage. This initiative will create a new ecosystem of jobs for local researchers, historians, content creators, and technology partners.
देखते हैं.
India has the
LTCG में तो
potential
मुझे
and
नहीं लग रहा है, but
opportunity
let's
to
see.
offer
Transaction tax. Let's
world-class
see.
trekking and hiking experience.
नहीं अब ठीक है सर.
Ecologically
Stream में
sustainable
good
mountain
morning,
trails
general studies.
in Himachal Pradesh.
Please let us know, guys, if our voices
and
are
Jammu
clear.
Kashmir.
If we are not audible, just tell us.
Also in Araku Valley in the Eastern Ghats and
Stream
Kodigai Malay
मुझे नहीं आ
in
रही
the
थी बीच में,
Western
but अब
Ghats.
ठीक है. Stream में भी आ रही होगी.
Turtle trails along key nesting sites in the coastal areas of Odisha, Karnataka, and Kerala. And 3.
You are not
bird
audible now,
watching
sir.
trails along the Pulikat Lake in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. It's on the border. Under the visionary
now
leadership of
it's-
Honorable Prime Minister,
it's fine.
we established the International Big Cat Alliance in 2024.
Nothing on
This
banks.
year,
I was expecting
India is
something on
hosting
mergers and
the
5-day
first
work
ever
week.
global Big
Yeah,
Cat
5-day
Summit,
work week is already
where
approved.
heads
Ankit.
of governments
So
and
it's not a
ministers
point of discussion
from
in the budget.
95 range countries will deliberate on collective strategies for conservation.
And I don't think that merger is a priority right now when it
I
comes to
propose to develop 15
government.
archaeological sites, including Lothal,
Sir, बोलिए
Dolavira,
कुछ.
Rakigadi, Adichanallu, Sarnath, Hastinapur, and Leh Palace into vibrant experiential cultural destinations. Excavated landscapes will be open to
Guys,
the
are we audible?
curated
Are you able to?
walkways. Immersive storytelling
Are you able to
skills
listen?
and
Just let us.
technologies will be introduced
हाँ,
to help conservation
हो
labs,
सकता है.
interpretation centers, and guides. The sports sector provides multiple means of employment, skilling, and job opportunities. Taking forward the systematic nurturing of sports talent, which is set in motion through the Khelo India program earlier, I propose to launch a Khelo
Volume
India
मतलब यार
mission
ये क्या सवाल
to
है?
transform the sports sector over the next decade. The mission will facilitate an integrated talent development pathway supported by training centers.
No,
which are
you're still not
foundational,
audible.
अब मेरे ख्याल से
intermediate,
stream
and
सही आ रही
elite
होगी.
levels.
now it is fine.
Systematic development of coaches and support staff.
आज कॉल ये बुट
Integration of sports science and technology.
आज call you.
राजगोपाल ने डिपेंड्स
Competitions and
की
leagues to
कॉल आप
promote sports culture
मतलब
and
किस कमोडिटी में
provide
पूछ रहे हो,
platforms.
निफ्टी के
And
रिगार्डिंग पूछ रहे हो या फिर
development of sports
क्या कहते
infrastructure
हैं
for training and
कमोडिटीज में पूछ रहे
competition.
हो.
Financial advisors are banned.
Aligns with our vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas towards Vikasit Bharat. This requires targeted efforts for 1. Increasing farmer incomes through productivity enhancement and entrepreneurship, with special attention to small and marginal farmers. B. Empowering Divyang
Anyways, I'm
through
not SEBI
access to
registered
livelihood
financial
opportunities,
advisor, तो मैं तो कुछ टिप्पणी
and
करूँगा
high
नहीं.
quality assistive devices. C. Empowering the vulnerable to access
वरना
mental
अपना चैनल
health
अभी भी
and
शुरू हुआ
trauma
है.
care.
काम होगा उसको बंद कराने का मेरा मूड नहीं है.
Focus on the Purvodaya
हम
states
लोगों को
and the northeast
so
region
no comments.
to accelerate development and employment opportunities. Fisheries. We will undertake initiatives for integrated development of 500 reservoirs and Amrit Sarovars. 2. Strengthen the fisheries value chain in coastal areas and enable market linkages involving startups and women-led groups together with fish farmer producer organizations. Animal husbandry. To provide quality employment opportunities in rural and peri-urban areas, we will support the animal husbandry sector in entrepreneurship development through A credit-linked subsidy program, B, scaling up and modernization of livestock enterprises, C, enhanced creation of livestock, dairy and poultry, encourage. Sorry,
But if you see the market reaction, तो market reaction अगर आप देखेंगे इस समय,
and D, encourage creation of livestock farmer
commodities
organizations. High value agriculture
is still, मतलब commodities में तो silver का तो आप देख ही सकते हैं कि silver is still very
increase productivity,
not looking good.
enhance farmers' incomes,
Silver पे
and
दो बार
create new employment
lower circuit लग
opportunities.
चुका है already.
We will support high value crops such as coconut, sandalwood, cocoa, cashews in the coastal areas, agar trees in northeast, and nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and pine nuts in our hilly regions.
Or one more thing is
These
also there
all of
that
them will
in
be
terms of
supported.
market
India is
hasn't
the
given
world's
any kind of
largest
reaction.
producer
ना
of
negative
coconuts.
पूरा गया है ना
About
positive
30
गया हुआ है.
million people,
So it's somewhere
including
around
nearly
minus
10 million farmers,
0.13%.
depend on coconuts
है
for
ना,
their
तो
livelihood.
maybe market is
To
also
further
waiting
enhance
कि taxation वाले
competitiveness
rules
in
को चाहें तो फिर
Exactly, वो
reaction
वेट
मिलेगा.
कर रहे हैं. हाँ, वो वेट कर रहे हैं अभी. क्या ही रिएक्शन देंगे अभी जो भी अनाउंसमेंट्स हुए. There is nothing much.
Through various interventions, including replacing and non-productive trees with new saplings or plants or varieties in major coconut growing states. A dedicated program is proposed for Indian cashew and cocoa to make India self-reliant in raw cashew and coconut production and processing, enhance export competitiveness, and transform Indian cashew and Indian cocoa into premium global brands by 2030. Sandalwood. Sandalwood is closely linked to India's social and cultural heritage. Our government will partner with state governments to promote
So all those
cultivation
these initiatives that the government is launching, particularly with respect to cashews as well as coconut, for NABARD people this is very important. Make sure that you guys read and everything, क्योंकि budget में आपको ये तो पढ़ना ही पढ़ना है. इसके बाद जब initiatives full fledged launch किए जाएंगे तब आपको इन सब के features को बहुत अच्छे से याद करके जाना है.
We will support a dedicated program to enhance farmer incomes and in bringing value addition by engaging youth. Bharat Vistar, that is virtually integrated system to access agricultural resources. I propose to launch Bharat Vistar, a multilingual AI tool that shall integrate the AgriStack portals and the ICAR package on agricultural practices with AI systems. This will enhance farm productivity, enable better decisions for farmers, and reduce risk by
in context of silver, basically commodities, all of you already know that why commodities are being purchased so much, because of the uncertainty and because of the policies adopted by President Donald Trump. तो उनकी policies की वजह से और इतनी uncertainty की वजह से everybody was losing confidence in the dollar. तो हर कोई फोकस कर रहा था कि ऐसी कमोडिटीज को पकड़ा जाए दैट कैन hedge against these uncertainties, so that's why gold and silver was going on so much. Okay, and another reason for silver was that a lot more supply was also not available. China has actually squeezed that it will not supply silver in the open market. तो यहाँ पर आपको दो चेंजेस देखने को मिले प्रीवियसली, लेट्स से इन द लास्ट 2 or 3 days. First of all, the US President Donald Trump basically decided to appoint a new Fed chairperson. और वो नए Fed chairperson का पर्सपेक्टिव ये है कि he will be strengthening the dollar. तो वो डॉलर को स्ट्रेंथन करने के मूड में है, तो दैट्स व्हाई डॉलर इफ इट अगेन रीगेन्स इट वैल्यू व्हिच एक्ट एज अ काउंटर एक्शन ऑन ऑल दीज सिल्वर एंड गोल्ड कमोडिटीज, सो दैट्स व्हाई वी सॉ क्रैश. अनदर रीजन वाज कि चाइना इज आल्सो रेडी टू इंक्रीज सप्लाई ऑफ सिल्वर इन द ग्लोबल मार्केट्स. तो जो इनिशियल कंडीशंस थी टू इंक्रीज ऑल दीज कमोडिटीज वैल्यू, वो दोनों रिवर्स हो गई. So that's why we see sudden crash. और फिर बहुत सारे लोगों के leverage bets हुआ करते थे, that margin पे लोग लेके इसमें bet लगा के रखे हुए हैं, तो वो सब भी हमको देखने को मिले. और फिर आपको पता है पैनिक सेल तो फिर देखने को मिलता ही है, क्योंकि इतना ज़्यादा डिक्लाइन हम लोग नॉर्मली देखते नहीं हैं.
And support setting up of assistive technology marts as modern retail style centers where Divyangjan and senior citizens can see, try and purchase assistive products. Reaffirming our commitment to mental health and trauma care. There are no national institutes for mental health care in North India. We will therefore set up a NIMHANS 2 and also upgrade national mental health institutes in Ranchi and in Tezpur as regional apex institutions. Emergencies expose families, particularly the poor and vulnerable, to unexpected expenditure. We will strengthen and increase these capacities by 50% in district hospitals by establishing emergency and trauma care centers. Focus on Purvodaya states and northeastern regions. Purvodaya, I propose the development of an integrated East Coast industrial corridor with a well-connected
proposed
node
establishment of a mental health center in North India also.
5 tourism destinations in 5
Ranchi.
Purvodaya states and the provision of 4,000 e-buses.
What do you say?
I was saying that she has proposed to establish a national mental health center also. एक और निभांस बना रहे हो इंडिया में, तो साउथ में ही है.
Theravada and Mahayana or Vajrayana
हाँ,
traditions.
it's very critical.
I propose to launch a scheme for development of Buddhist circuits in Arunachal Pradesh,
Exactly,
Sikkim,
हाँ. Exactly, हाँ, correct.
Manipur,
So that is a good
Mizoram and Tripura. The scheme will cover
Exactly.
preservation of temples and monasteries, pilgrimage interpretation centers, connectivity and program pilgrim amenities. 16th Finance Commission.
Are not aware of how to deal
On
with these kinds of
17th November 2025,
Exactly. They don't treat it as a.
the 16th Finance Commission submitted its report to the President. As
And
mandated
having
under
a
Article
having an institute
281
in
of
North
the
India is very
Constitution,
important.
the government
Because,
is to lay the
it
report
gives that,
along with the explanatory
ये
memorandum
एक
on
उस
the
टाइप का एक देता
action
सिग्नल देता है ना कि
taken report
this thing is
on the
normal, as you said.
recommendations of the Commission in Parliament, which, Sir, Honourable Speaker, you've allowed me to do at the commencement of this session. The government has accepted the recommendation of the Commission to retain the vertical share of devolution at 41%. As recommended by the Commission.
My audio is
I
too
have
low.
provided
Okay.
1.4
What about now?
lakh
अब
crores
मेरे ख्याल से ठीक आ जाएगी.
of rupees to the states
I'll talk
for
like
the
this.
year 2026-2027 as Finance Commission grants. These include rural and urban local body and disaster management grants. Fiscal consolidation. Government has been delivering on our fiscal commitments consistently without comprising
So I guess the
compromising on social needs.
finance commission is also,
To strive
you know,
towards accepted standards of fiscal
that's what
management in
finance
budget
minister is also saying, that in
25-26,
context of finance
I
commission,
had
the devolution is
indicated
41%
that the
only,
central government would target
same
So
as
then
reaching a
it
debt
was
to
there
GDP
in 15th
ratio
finance commission.
of
15th
50
finance commission,
plus
okay.
or minus 1% by
So vertical devolution,
2030-31.
people, basically
In
it
line
means
with
that how
this,
much tax
the debt
proceed
to
the center
GDP
will provide
ratio
to
is estimated
states.
to be
So 41% of the
55.6%
overall
of
taxation,
GDP
tax
in
revenues
BE
has been provided to the states.
26-27, compared to 56.1% of GDP in RE 25-26. A declining
दुबे जी, आपके लिए comments है. Make sure you check the comments also. What happened to the stream? I'll refresh it.
What should I summarize, Rohit?
25-26. A declining.
Is the stream not working for us or for everyone?
नहीं ठीक है. वो थोड़ा बीच में लैग हुआ था, but now it's fine. What should I summarize, Rohit? Okay. अच्छा अब लैग आ रहा है.
25-26. A declining.
I guess it's not working for anyone.
No, it has stopped. रुक गया सर अभी.
Let's check it on Sansad TV. Sansad TV वाली अगर work कर रही है तो we'll take it.
ठीक है.
Direct taxes.
Okay, this is working.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I now present my proposals on direct taxes.
सर शुरू कर दीजिए सनसेट टीवी वाला. डायरेक्ट टैक्स का कुछ प्रपोजल आ रहा है.
Direct tax
In
शुरू हो गया.
July 2020,
हाँ डायरेक्ट टैक्स शुरू हो गया.
I announced a comprehensive review of the Income Tax Act 1961. This
Very
was
important.
completed
I'm
in a
also
record time, and the Income Tax
direct
Act
taxes आ गया.
2025
Very
will
important.
come into effect from 1st April 2026. The simplified income
also
tax
monitoring the
rules
market
and
as well.
forms will be
So I'll tell you the
notified
market
shortly,
happenings
giving
also.
adequate time to taxpayers to acquaint themselves with its requirements. The forms have been redesigned such that ordinary citizens can comply without difficulty. Ease of living. I propose that any interest awarded by the Motor Accident Claims Tribunal to a natural person will be exempt from income tax, and any TDS on this account will be done away with. I propose to reduce TCS rate on the sale of overseas tour program package from the current 5% and 20% to 2% without any stipulation of amount. I propose to reduce TCS rate for pursuing education and for medical purposes under the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, popularly known as LRS, from 5% to 2%. Supply of manpower services is proposed to be specifically brought within the ambit of payment to contractors for the purpose of TDS to avoid ambiguity. Thus, TDS on these services will be at the rate of either 1% or 2% only. I propose a scheme for small taxpayers.
This is good.
Wherein
good
a
in the sense,
rule-based automated process will
even though it
enable
will obviously
obtaining a lower or nil deduction certificate instead of filing an application with the assessing officer. For the ease of taxpayer holding securities in multiple companies, I propose to enable depositories to accept Form 15G or Form 15H from the investor and provide it directly to various relevant companies. I propose to extend time available for revising returns from 31st December to up to 31st March with the payment of a nominal fee. I also propose to stagger the timeline for filing of tax returns. Individuals with ITR 1 and ITR 2 returns will continue to file till 31st July, and non-audit business cases or trusts are proposed to be allowed time till 31st August. TDS on sale of immovable property by a non-resident is proposed to be deducted and deposited through resident buyers and his or her PAN-based challan instead of requiring a TAN, which is a temporary accounting number. To address practical issues of small taxpayers like students, young professionals, tech employees, relocated NRIs, and such others, I propose to introduce a one-time 6-month foreign asset disclosure scheme for these taxpayers to disclose income or assets below a certain size. This scheme would be applicable for two categories of taxpayers, namely A, who did not disclose their overseas income or assets, and B, who disclosed their overseas income and or paid due tax but could not declare the asset acquired. For category A, the limit of undisclosed income or asset is proposed to be up to 1 crore
so
rupees.
till now nothing has come.
They need to pay 30% of fair market value
increase
of asset,
the market. Instead, market is actually declining a little bit. So 0.13% it has been reduced to minus 0.25%.
in lieu of penalty and would thereby get immunity.
उनको कुछ
from
मिला ही नहीं है तो
prosecution.
क्या ही करेंगे वो
For category
वो भी
B,
बैठे हुए होंगे anticipation
asset value is proposed to be up to 5 crore rupees. Here, immunity from both penalty and prosecution will be available with a payment of fee of 1 lakh rupees. Rationalizing penalty and prosecution. Multiplicity of proceedings are hindrance to the ease of doing business. I propose to integrate assessment and penalty proceedings by way of a common order for both. There will be no interest liability on the taxpayer on the penalty amount for the period of appeal before the first appellate authority, irrespective of the outcome of appeal process. Further, quantum of prepayment is being reduced from 20% to 10% and will
Even though
continue to be
multiple
calculated
penalties are being
only
rationalized,
on core
which is a
tax
good sign
demand.
in the sense that
As an additional measure for reducing
it reduces
litigation,
compliances
I
and
propose to allow
it improves ease of
taxpayers
doing business.
to up to
But this time,
to
the
update their
Indian economy
returns
needs
even after
a little bit boost
reassessment
in terms
proceedings
of confidence,
have been
particularly.
initiated, and an additional 10% tax rate over and above the rate
As in आप
applicable
क्या
for the
expect कर रहे
relevant
थे when
year.
it comes to
The
confidence
assessing
boosting
officer will then use only this updated return in his proceedings. There is already a framework for immunity from penalty and prosecution in the cases of underreporting. I propose to apply this framework for immunity to misreporting too. However, in such a case, the taxpayer will need to pay 100% of the tax amount as an additional income tax over and above the tax and interest due. Penalties for certain technical defaults, such as failure to get accounts audited, non-furnishing of transfer pricing audit report, and default in furnishing statement for financial transactions are proposed to be converted into fee. I propose to rationalize prosecution framework under Income Tax Act while maintaining a careful balance for deterrence in some serious offence. Non-production of books of account and documents and requirement of TDS payment where payment is made in kind are being decriminalized. Further, minor offences will attract fine only. The remaining prosecutions will be graded commensurate with the quantum of offence. They will entail only simple imprisonment with maximum imprisonment reduced to 2 years and power to courts to convert even those into fines. There is no penalty. There is no penalty presently for non-disclosure of non-immovable foreign assets with aggregate value less than 20 lakh rupees. I propose to also provide them with immunity from prosecution with retrospective effect from 1/10/2024. Cooperatives.
Compliance ही ease कर रहे हैं और
Deduction is already allowed to a primary cooperative society
Primarily, if you see nothing
engaged in supplying
sense of,
milk, oilseeds,
which I was
fruits or
mentioning about
vegetables
investors' confidence
raised or
is
grown
Exactly.
by its members. I propose
just
to
hope
extend this
that
deduction
there are something.
to also
There
include
are,
supply
exactly.
of cattle feed and cotton
अभी तो
seed
सिर्फ compliance
produced by
का
its
announcement चल रहा
members. I propose to allow inter-cooperative society dividend income as deduction under the new tax regime to the extent it is further distributed to its members. I further propose to allow exemption for a period of 3 years to dividend income received by a notified national cooperative federation on their investments made in companies up to 31/1/2026. This exemption would be allowed only for dividends further distributed to its member cooperatives. Supporting IT sector as India's growth engine. India is a global leader in software development services, IT-enabled services, knowledge process outsourcing services, and contract R&D services relating to software development. These businesses and their segments are quite interconnected with each other. All these services are proposed to be clubbed under a single category of information technology services with a common safe harbor margin of 15.5% applicable to all. The threshold for availing safe harbor for IT services is being enhanced substantially from 300 crore rupees to 2,000 crore rupees. Safe harbor for IT services shall be approved by an automated rule-driven process without any need for tax officer to examine and accept the application. Once applied by an IT services company, the same safe harbor can be continued for a period of 5 years at a stretch at its choice. For IT services companies who want to conclude advanced pricing agreement, APA, I propose to fast-track unilateral APA process for IT services and endeavor to conclude it within a period of 2 years. The period of 2 years can be extended by a further period of 6 months on taxpayers' request. I propose to extend the facility of modified returns available to the entity entering APA to its associated entities also. Attracting global
So
business
this
and
basically
investment,
will be improving,
recognizing the need
or
to
it
enable
will
critical infrastructure and
help
boost
India
investment in
leverage
data
the
centers.
India-EU FTA,
I
particularly in the IT sector.
provide-
So in order
I
to,
propose to provide
make sure that
tax holiday
India's IT sector
till 2047
basically
to
leverage
any
or reap
foreign
benefits of
company
India-EU
that
FTA and all the
provides
FTAs that
cloud
India is doing.
services
तो इस तरीके के
customers
safe harbor वाले
globally
आपके
by
provisions have
using
been
data
introduced
center
by the Indian
services
government.
from India. It will, however, need to provide services to Indian customers through an Indian reseller entity. I also propose to provide a safe harbor of 15% on cost in case the company providing data center services from India is a related entity.
And you can see the benefit of it. Basically, if you see the market में आपको जो minus 0.3% it has come to the positive side. So the market is actually liking this initiative that the government has launched.
In a bonded warehouse at a profit margin of 2% of the invoice value. The resultant tax of about 0.7% will be much slower than in competing jurisdictions. To provide fillip to toll manufacturing in India, I propose to provide exemption from income tax for 5 years to any non-resident who provides capital goods, equipment, or tooling to any toll manufacturer in a bonded zone. To encourage vast pool of global talent to work in India for a longer period of time, I propose to provide exemption to global, non-India sourced income of a non-resident expert for a stay period of 5 years under notified schemes. I propose to provide exemption from minimum alternate tax, the MAT, to all non-residents who pay tax on presumptive basis. Tax administration. I propose to constitute a joint committee of Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Central Board of Direct Taxes for incorporating the requirements of income computation and disclosure standards.
If you see, most of the initiatives that have been launched is primarily aiming to attract FDI.
Itself.
Whether it's a tax incentive that is being provided, especially for those companies that are also providing capital goods as well.
Capital goods as well,
to support Prime Minister Modi's vision of homegrown accounting and advisory firms
MAT-related announcement
to become global leaders, I propose to rationalize the definition of accountant for the purposes of safe harbor rules. Other tax proposals. Change in taxation of buyback was brought in to address the improper use of buyback route by promoters. In the interest of minority shareholders, I propose to tax buyback for all types of shareholders as capital gains. However, to disincentivize misuse of tax arbitrage, promoters will pay an additional buyback tax. This will make effective tax 22% for corporate promoters. For non-corporate promoters, the effective tax will be 30%. TCS rate for sellers of specific goods, namely alcoholic liquor, scrap, and minerals, will be rationalized to 2%.
Buyback,
and that on
में जितने भी आप capital gains बनाएंगे वो
will
सब
be reduced
taxation.
from 5% to 2%.
हाँ, tax कर दिया उन्होंने.
I propose to raise the STT on futures to 0.05% from the present 0.02%. STT on options premium and exercise of options are both proposed to be raised to 0.15% from the present rate of 0.1% and 0.125% respectively. We reformed the taxation landscape for corporates in 2019 by providing them a simplified regime with lower tax rate so that they could productively focus on business rather than on claim of deductions and
ironically the market is also
to encourage companies
ironically naturally the market will decline, so minus 4.4%, the market is declining.
Minimum alternate tax credit is proposed to be allowed to companies only in the new regime. Set off using available
Nifty
MAT
is down minus
is proposed to
0.4%.
be allowed to an extent
It was actually in positive.
of 1/4 of the tax liability in the new regime. MAT is proposed to be made
जैसे tax वाला
final
announcement
tax.
हुआ उसके बाद नीचे चला गया.
So there will be no further credit accumulation from 1st April 2026. In
When will this
line with
new
this
income
change,
tax
the
act and
rate of
applications
final
will start
tax
to
is being reduced to
file as per this
14%
act
from the
21st
current
of
MAT
this year.
rate of 15%.
यार announcement हुआ और अब
The
आ जाएगा
brought
ये.
forward MAT credit of
That's the answer to
taxpayers
your question.
accumulated till 30th March 2026 will continue to be available to them for set off as above. Indirect taxes. I shall now take up proposals related to indirect taxes. My proposals for customs and central excise aim to further simplify the tariff structure, support domestic manufacturing, promote export competitiveness, and correct inversion in duty. To continue weeding out long continuing customs duty exemptions, I propose to remove certain exemptions on items which are being manufactured in India or where the imports are negligible. Similarly, to further
So for general
simplify the
public, there
process
is
of
no tax
ascertaining
benefit
the
that they were
rate of
expecting.
duty
But I guess
applicable on a
expectation ही नहीं
particular
थी क्योंकि
item,
last
I
year
propose to
already the
incorporate
government provided 12 lakh
certain
rupees
effective
exemption.
rates in
So now
various customs
indirect taxation
notifications
is being
to the
talked
tariff
about
schedule itself. I shall now
नहीं
take
वो
up
तो नहीं आना था सर.
sector-specific
Last year उन्होंने कर
proposals.
दिया था. तो जनरल पब्लिक के लिए
Promotion
तो
of exports of marine, leather, and textile products. I propose to increase the limit for duty-free imports of specified inputs used for processing seafoods for export from the current 1% to 3% of FOB value of the previous year's export turnover. I also propose to allow duty-free imports of specified inputs, which is currently available for exports of leather or synthetic footwear, to exports of shoe uppers as well. I propose to extend the time period for export of final product from the existing 6 months to 1 year for exporters of leather or textile garments, leather or synthetic footwear, and other leather products. Energy transition and security. I propose to extend the basic customs duty exemption given to capital goods used for manufacturing lithium-ion cells for batteries to those used for manufacturing lithium-ion cells for battery energy storage systems also.
Saurabh, if you
I
see the
propose
market,
to exempt
and the
basic
market is
customs
not,
duty on import
I'm not
of
saying कि
sodium antimonate
it would
for
be
use
something
in
like
manufacture of
not
solar
as per market
glass.
expectation. So minus 0.5%
Nuclear power.
decline in Nifty
I
is visible.
propose to extend the existing basic customs duty
How do you see
exemption
the overall budget
on
till now?
imports of goods required for nuclear
Sir,
power.
as I expected, no big ticket announcement, basic compliance related announcements. They are trying to bring back the FPIs as you mentioned. So
Critical minerals.
कैपिटल का जो इनफ्लो मतलब आउटफ्लोज था उसको थोड़ा एड्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. कोई अनाउंसमेंट मेजर कुछ है नहीं. थोड़ा बहुत उन्होंने हेल्थ सेक्टर एजुकेशन में कुछ कुछ अनाउंसमेंट्स कर दिए हैं. तो अभी तक तो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत ही लो की बजट रहा है. एंड आई डोंट नो इफ दे हैव समथिंग इन द बैग. शी हैज समथिंग इन द बैग तो मुझे नहीं मालूम. बट टिल नाउ इट हैज बीन वेरी व्हाट शुड आई से एक्साइटिंग पार्ट मेरे ख्याल से तो अभी कुछ कुछ भी नहीं है.
So in
So
this
that is the
budget,
reason the market.
most probably was the aim was only about FPAs only.
हाँ हाँ ऐसा ही लग रहा है कि
Otherwise, in terms of providing relaxation with respect to market or something for domestic, it wasn't so much. Primarily, the government is doing on the same lines, focusing on cooperatives, MSMEs, infrastructure.
MSMEs, हाँ
So
exactly.
that's
जो
what the
basically
theme is continuing.
हाँ तो केपेक्स को बना कर दे हैव ट्राई टू मेंटेन द केपेक्स की भाई कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर बना रहे हैं. और फिर वही है कि वो चाह रहे हैं कि मतलब थोड़ा एफपीआई से कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट हो और इन टर्म प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट भी थोड़ा बढ़े इकोनॉमी में.
Yes,
तो आई
true.
थिंक लॉन्ग टर्म गेम ही खेल रहे हैं वो. और सेंस भी बनाता है ना. देयर इज नो इंसेंटिव फॉर द गवर्नमेंट आल्सो टू मेक एनी बिग टिकट अनाउंसमेंट राइट नाउ.
Yes, chalo, let's
So
continue
political
and watch.
Manufacture of microwave ovens. Special economic zone. To address the concerns arising about utilization of capacity by manufacturing units in the special economic zones due to global trade disruptions, I propose as a special one-time measure to facilitate sales by eligible manufacturing units in SEZs to the domestic tariff area at concessional rates of duty. The quantity of such sales will be limited to a prescribed proportion of their exports. Necessary regulatory changes will be undertaken to operationalize the measures while ensuring level playing field for the units working in the DTA. Ease of living. To rationalize the customs duty structure for goods imported for personal use, I propose to reduce the tariff rate on all dutiable goods imported for personal use from 20% to 10%. To provide relief to patients, particularly those suffering from cancer, I propose to exempt basic customs duty on 17 drugs or medicines. I propose also to add 7 more rare diseases for the purposes of exempting import duties on personal imports of drugs, medicines, and food for special medical purposes used in their treatment. Customs process. India's role and share in the global trade is poised for a major leap in line with our ambition and journey towards Vikasit Bharat. In this regard, I propose many measures for custom processes to have minimal intervention for smoother and faster movement.
Yes, Vivan. If you see, basically, the market is also not liking this budget so much. It's minus 0.93%. So expectations are obviously, I think, it went below expectations. So that's why the market is showcasing this much reaction, because normally flat market is used to be when the budget is as per expectations, even though expectations were already low. So that's why
So the
we
signal
are
is
watching minus 1.05% Nifty is down. So as we speak, the Nifty is going down a lot.
it is going down. So even low expectations they had, even they have not been fulfilled. That's what I can figure out.
Of the whole of government approach, government agencies will be encouraged to leverage AEO accreditation for preferential treatment in clearing their cargo. Regular importers with trusted long-standing supply chains will be recognized in the risk system so that the need for verification of their cargo every time can be minimized. Export cargo using electronic sealing. Export cargo using electronic sealing will be provided through clearance from the factory premises to the ship. For import of goods not needing any compliance, filing of bill of entry by a trusted importer and arrival of goods will automatically notify customs for completing their clearance formalities. This will enable goods to be released immediately on arrival. The customs warehouse framework will be transformed into a warehouse operator-centric system with a self-declarations, electronic tracking, and risk-based audit. These reforms will move away from the current system of officer-dependent approvals and reduce transaction delays.
Sort of, if you see, particularly, more or less, the budget seems to be like to address whatever Indian economy is facing problem because of the geopolitical conditions. Because geopolitically, the export market needs diversification.
Exactly.
So that's why the government is focusing on ensuring that how much we can, ensure reduction of cost for the exporters and improve their ability to do market in different areas. And in order to attract FDIs, they are doing this. Except these things, nothing else is government doing in this budget.
एग्जैक्टली तो वो पूरी मतलब नहीं होता है, मतलब सही कह रहे हो आप, मतलब जियोपॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो को भी कैटर कर रहे हैं और जो भी इश्यूज चल रहे हैं, मतलब अगेन स्ट्रक्चरल इश्यूज को ही फिक्स कर रहे हैं। उनको जो लग रहा है कि जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटी भी उनके लिए क्रिएट हुई है ड्यू टू द एग्जिस्टिंग जियोपॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो, उसको ही बस वो एड्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। बाकी तो कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं एग्जैक्टली, सिर्फ कंप्लायंस की बातें हो रही है तब से। मतलब आई हैव हर्ड नथिंग एक्सेप्ट कंप्लायंस, कुछ भी सुनने को नहीं मिला।
True.
हाँ,
चलो, let's continue and see this.
For risk assessment will be expanded in a phased manner with the objective to scan every container across all the major ports. New export opportunities to support Indian fishermen to fully harness the economic value of marine resources beyond our territorial waters. The following measures will be taken. A. Fish catch by an Indian fishing vessel in exclusive economic zone or on the high seas will be made free of duty. Landing of such fish on foreign port will be treated as export of goods. Safeguards will be put in place to prevent misuse during fish catch, transit or transshipment. To support aspirations of India's small businesses, artisans and startups to access global markets through e-commerce, I am pleased to announce complete removal of the current value cap of 10 lakh rupees per consignment on courier exports. In addition, handling of rejected and returned consignments will be improved with effective use of technology for identifying such consignments. I propose to revise provisions governing baggage clearance during international travel to address genuine concerns of passengers. The revised rules will enhance duty-free allowances in line with the present-day travel realities and provide clarity in temporary carriage of goods brought in or taken out. There are honest taxpayers who are willing to settle disputes by paying all their dues, but they get deterred due to negative connotation associated with penalty. They will now be able to close cases by paying an additional amount in lieu of penalty. Honorable Speaker, sir, with this, I commend the budget to this august House. Jai Hind. One and a half hours.
आइटम नंबर 3 माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी।
Item number 2, sir.
3
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table of the following statements under Section 3(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act of 2003.
अच्छा, ये तो
Medium-term
पर आ
fiscal
गए
policy,
तो
fiscal policy strategy statement,
I'll close it.
वॉइस
and
नहीं आ रही।
macroeconomic framework.
अब तो बस नंबर्स कोट करेंगे और टारगेट्स बताएंगे, आई थिंक, एंड इट इज डन।
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table of the following statements under Section 3(1) of the
यहाँ गए
Management Act of 2003. Medium-term fiscal policy strategy statement, and macroeconomic framework.
Okay, so more or less, how did you find the budget?
तो बस नंबर्स कोट करेंगे और टारगेट्स बताएंगे, आई थिंक।
So more or less, how do you find the budget? Any perspective? And I want to also ask the participants, आप लोग को भी कैसा लग रहा है कि what are your expectations with respect to this budget? आपकी expectations कुछ और थी और ये कुछ और निकला, या फिर आपकी expectation के हिसाब से ही था? How did you find the budget? So more or less, how do you find the budget? Any perspective? And I want to also ask the participants, आप लोग को भी कैसा लग रहा है कि what are your expectations with respect to this budget? आपकी expectations कुछ और थी और ये कुछ और निकला, या फिर आपकी expectation के हिसाब से ही था? Saurabh, you can continue if you want to speak on this.
नहीं सर, मेरे तो कोई भी एज आई सेड कि मेरा ऐसा कोई भी बहुत बड़ा एक्सपेक्टेशन था नहीं, बट अगेन अब तो उन्होंने वही ट्रेंड को ही कंटिन्यू किया है। वो बस जो जैसे आपने बोला ना कि आपने बहुत अच्छे से वहां पर समअप कर दिया कि जो रिसेंट जियोपॉलिटिकल अनसर्टेनिटीज है ना, और उसके कारण जो हमारे पास जो थ्रेट्स भी हैं, प्लस जो उसके कारण जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी क्रिएट हुई हैं, उसको बस वो एड्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं अभी फिलहाल।
Exactly,
And
exactly. So this
हाँ,
is also what I wanted to, मतलब मोर लेस जिस हिसाब से कंप्लायंस पे फोकस ज़्यादा था और जिस हिसाब से केवल एफडीआई और एफपीआई को अट्रैक्ट करने वाला फोकस था,
हाँ,
एंड इंस्टेड इफ यू सी पर्टिकुलरली फ्रॉम द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ कि डोमेस्टिक जितने भी मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनके लिए तो एक तरीके से डिक्लाइन हो गया, बिकॉज बायबैक पर भी टैक्सेशन वाला जो एक प्रोविजन है
बायबैक पे भी टैक्सेशन लगा दिया उन्होंने, करेक्ट।
है ना। सो उस सेंस में ऑब्वियसली एज बिकी इज ऑल्सो सेइंग एंड अ लॉट मोर पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर सेइंग कि उनके पोर्टफोलियो डाउन हो गए हैं। एक
हाँ, तो
तो
सबके
कमोडिटीज़
डाउन।
ने पोर्टफोलियो को तो एम ही डाउन कर रखा है, और उसके चक्कर में फिर देन यू सी निफ्टी ऑल्सो गोइंग डाउन। So Nifty right now is, if I see, Nifty right now is minus 1.44%. So 364
चीज आ रहा है।
points Nifty नीचे है अभी।
नहीं, बस वो कंप्लायंस बेस्ड बजट है और कुछ है नहीं इसमें, मतलब देयर इज
Yes, yes,
नथिंग।
yes. So any
कुछ
participant who would like to share his perspective,
यस
feel
प्लीज।
free to.
हाँ, हम लोग तो बात कर ही रहे हैं, आप लोग भी कुछ बताइए।
आप लोग को कोई सवाल हो किसी भी चीज़ के रिगार्डिंग तो वो भी आप लोग पूछ सकते हो।
मेजर इनिशिएटिव्स आर ऑलरेडी टेकन आउटसाइड द बजटरी टाइमलाइन। प्रॉफिट बुक करूं या वेट,
यार
प्रॉफिट
हम
बुक
लोग
करूं
तो
या वेट?
इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर्स नहीं है, तो आप लोग
अरे
देखिए
यार,
अपने
ये
हिसाब
सब हम लोग नहीं
से।
बोलेंगे यार कि प्रॉफिट बुक करो या वेट करो।
So that's your call. आपको आरबीआई वगैरह इन सब के लिए पढ़ने आना तो फील फ्री टू कम।
या
उसमें हम आपको पूरा एकदम अच्छे से गाइड करेंगे।
उसमें गाइडेंस इतनी सर्टेन होगी कि फिर आप ये क्वेश्चन पूछोगे ही नहीं, खुद ही करना होगा तो कर लोगे, बुक छोड़ना होगा
एग्जैक्टली,
तो छोड़।
एग्जैक्टली। चलिए, इट वाज लवली जॉइनिंग विद यू गाइस। इसी तरीके की वॉच अलॉन्ग सेशन स्पेशली ऑफ मेजर इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्फ्रेंसेस हम लोग इसी तरीके से प्लान कर लेंगे, एंड इन दिस वे वील बी एबल टू गेट टू बी अवेयर अबाउट वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ इवेंट्स। सौरभ, यू वांट टू टेक दिस?
नहीं, बढ़िया था सर। आई थिंक चैट में भी लोगों ने इंटरेक्ट किया, तो अगर आगे भी कुछ मेजर अनाउंसमेंट्स होती हैं या फिर कुछ आरबीआई के गवर्नर की तरफ से भी अगर कुछ होता है, तो विल ट्राई टू हैव लाइव स्पीचेस सो दैट कि लोग अपना भाई कुछ 2 सेंट्स वहाँ पर दे सके, कंट्रीब्यूट कर सके, एंड वी कैन टेल देम कि वो क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं। तो आई थिंक इट वाज अ गुड इनिशिएटिव, एंड आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इट कि फ्यूचर में भी हम ऐसा कुछ कर सकें।
ओके, सो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे एंड बजट क्लासेस विल स्टार्ट वेरी सून। ठीक है, आज तो नहीं, कल से हम लोग शुरू करना इकोनॉमिक सर्वे शुरू कर देंगे, एंड बजट आपको 1-2 दिन में मिल जाएगा, सो दैट वोंट बी अ प्रॉब्लम।
If anyone wants to ask something, you can ask, or we'll wind up.
चलो, थैंक यू गाइस फॉर जॉइनिंग, विल मीट इन नेक्स्ट सेशन। थैंक यू।
Thank you.